there are situations where your beliefs don't always match the person you're having to deal with. So it could be work or family. So that can be quite hard. So how do you deal with a situation where you've got to be around someone where you just really don't see the same, it's not morals, maybe it is beliefs, morals. How do you cope with that and not let it frustrate you or wind you up?
I think that the difference is that beliefs, morals, ethics, values are very individual to all of us, and there's no right or wrong. You know, the beliefs that we hold or the things that are important to us are influenced and based on our own experiences and part of our upbringing and experiences with people, situations that we've been in, people who have influenced us as we've grown older. I think for me, it's about trying to understand where that person's coming from, but ultimately having a respect that is their belief. That's what they choose to believe is right for them, but it's not a right or wrong. You know, it's not fact, their beliefs. So it's not something that you can argue is fact and show evidence to prove that they are wrong, because ultimately it's a feeling, it's a belief for them, shaped by their experiences and shaped by their view of the world. I think there's great discussion to be had in that, but I think ultimately sometimes that gets quite heated because we feel like we want to defend what we believe to be true. And sometimes in those discussions or conversations, it feels, when we try to share what we believe and why we believe that it can feel like the other person is trying to change ours, or we're trying to change theirs. And then we get very defensive because that's what we believe to be true. And I'll be the first to admit, I've been in those conversations where it's, you do feel a connection to your beliefs. You do feel that's because it's part of you. It's part of who you are as a person. It is part of that. So I think when we feel that that's being criticized, or we feel that somebody has a belief or a way of thinking that is in conflict with that, then it can get very difficult to try and get past that, and especially when it's in conflict with what where there is a complete opposite end of the spectrum of, this is what I believe, this is what you believe. I think there's lots to learn from people who think differently, believe differently. I think there's lots to learn in those conversations. But I think it's also knowing when to acknowledge that, okay, that's what you believe, this is what I believe, and step away from that, because there's a relationship or a friendship or a partnership or a working relationship there that you want to protect, that you want to respect, and that ultimately the beliefs can be quite a small part of that person and that connection. So I think sometimes it's knowing when to step back from that and say, look, we know we have different opinions, different thoughts, different approaches on this. We've had different experience in life that have shaped that, and respect that person has the right to feel differently and to see the world differently, even if we don't see it that way. And I think that's tough. But I think that the world is part of what makes the beauty of the world, isn't it? Is that we do all see the world differently, and